What is this? It's a Game Boy game. But not exactly, because I'm playing it on the Wii U Virtual Console. But anyways, this is Let's Play Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland, the Game Boy Advance remake of Kirby's Adventure, which is a game that I've never played, but Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland is a game that I have fond memories of. And my first memories of this game was, they were that I played this a long time ago on my Game Boy Advance, and I beat the whole game 100% on the normal mode, not the extra mode. That's what you get whenever you combine expert and extra. But yeah, I played this game a lot, and it took me forever to figure out how to beat it 100%. But whenever I did, I felt victorious, and it was an exciting time for me. It was one of the first games that I had 100%ed like that. Maybe not one of the first, but it still felt like an accomplishment because I was having fun the whole time. And eventually I lost that game, and I don't know where that cartridge went. But for years I was missing the game, and anytime I played a different Kirby game, I never felt like it was as good as this one was. So just recently I decided to finally pick it up again on the Virtual Console, and I am very happy for doing that. Although this game is a lot shorter than I remember it being. Or maybe not necessarily shorter, because it's got all the levels that I remember. It's just way faster than I remember, and in a way it almost makes it better than I remember, because despite it feeling shorter, I really like the speed of this specific Kirby game, because a lot of Kirby games just feel too slow to me, and that's one of the reasons that I kind of feel like Kirby is an unremarkable series as a whole. Even though I've played tons of Kirby games, and I do enjoy them all, or that I've played. Well, I've played as much as I've enjoyed as much as I've played of them, which is to say, I haven't beaten every single one that I've played. At some point I might like to try Kirby 64, which I don't own, but I've only played it very briefly, and it seemed fun but very slow. And then Kirby's Dream Land 3 is a game that I recently beat, and it's also pretty slow. Not as slow as 64, but still slow. And oh, here's Crash. The most ridiculously overpowered move, but you can only use it once. And yet, even with its power, it doesn't break certain gray blocks, which is a little bit annoying. I guess the one problem that I have with this game, which is also kind of one of the things that made me enjoy it a lot, and that's kind of counterintuitive, but one thing about this game is that in order to 100% it, there are well, there are buttons that you have to press that are optional in different levels, and some of the buttons are only accessible if you have the hammer power-up, and the hammer power-up is not the easiest one to find, or the easiest one to obtain, because it's rare and normal enemies don't have it. It's always satisfying to get the number 1 on this minigame. But yeah, it's just, if you're unable to get a button, chances are the hammer power-up is what you need, and it's hard to get it. So, I don't know, it feels like maybe there could be more optional missions that require you to get more power-ups besides just that one, for variety's sake. But it was also such an accomplishment to me to finally realize that's the power-up I needed whenever I first figured everything out. So yeah, Kirby games in general, to me they feel rather samey, because they're just really basic level design mixed with getting power-ups. And you don't need any of the power-ups to get through any of the levels, you can just pretty much go through them, just literally fly through them, because Kirby can float forever. And that's all you really need to do, and the power-ups are just here to make things more interesting, is what it feels like most of the time. And even Kirby games, Kirby platformers, I guess specifically, that try to veer a little bit away from the normal formula, like Amazing Mirror has a more Metroid-style setup with all the levels, it still feels like roughly the same game as this. And Squeak Squad feels really similar to this, just, in my opinion, not as good. But yes, this is definitely my favorite Kirby game, because it feels fast. I like the level design, even though it is fairly simple. I like the enemies. It feels like the right difficulty for someone like me. And it was satisfying for me to go back through the game again in the extra mode, because that's something that I felt like I was completely unable to do years ago, but now I feel like I'm better at the game. And it's kind of funny how that works. How you can leave a game for years and years and then come back and you're better at the game than you were before. I don't know how that works, because you don't practice in that time. Maybe you just get better with coordination or something in that time, and it just kind of transfers into the game that you used to play. Or maybe it's kind of like sleeping, where you have an idea that you're trying to think about, and then as you're sleeping, your mind is working constantly about what could build upon that idea. And then once you wake up, it's like, oh, I have all these new ideas now. How did that happen? I wasn't really thinking about them. If that made any sense at all. Now, Kirby's Dream Land 3, it has a design decision that I kind of prefer over this one, where there's a minigame at the end of every level in that one, but those minigames can give you lots of stuff, not just one-ups if you get to the number 1 spot, but they also give you health. Just whack a tree over and over again. Now, if you have the freeze power-up, this goes by in, like, a half of a second. But instead, this is just going to go by in 1 second. But as I was saying, the minigames at the end of Kirby's Dream Land 3, they can give you one-ups, or they can give you little stars that can contribute to your getting one-ups, or they can give you life, like health. And that's a lot more variety than this game gives you with the end-of-level minigames, because you can either get one-ups or you can get points, and the points are completely useless. Unless you care about points, but I've never really cared about points unless it's like the point of a game. Like Tony Hawk, which is another game that I got better at after years of not playing it. And Star Fox. Star Fox is another example of a game where I care about the points because the points are the point. This specific Kirby game probably also has one of my favorite soundtracks in the series, because every track is memorable to the point of being an earworm. I've heard someone say that they prefer the original Kirby's Adventure over this remake, possibly due to nostalgia, and I've seen Kirby's Adventure. I haven't played it myself, as I might have said before, but it is very similar to this, not exactly the same, but I think that this one has the upper hand with being on the Game Boy Advance and being a prettier game and having more cool environments. Like, I like this background a lot. It doesn't really feel very pixelated, but that's fine. It just feels like a nice, cool... I like the curvature of the horizon. Something that you don't see all the time. It's exotic. Elegant. Dreamy. That Hansel, he's so hot right now. And of course I say that while I have the burning power-up. Now the wheel power-up is one of the coolest ones, but also one of the least useful ones. I'll take it, just to show it off. I mean, it is useful sometimes, and this level is one of the times when it's useful, but most of the time it's just impractical, because it lowers your control. But it is very fast, and so if you're speedrunning this game, I would imagine that this is the one that you want most of the time. A. Did I get it right that time? Nope. The timing's really tricky on that. It's a lot more precise than the Kirby's Dream Land 3 one. And I keep talking about that game, but maybe I should just Let's Play it at some point. I think this might be one of the levels that I got stuck on, I'm not really sure, in terms of 100%ing the game. Or maybe not. No, this is just a weird level, because the positioning of some of the power-ups in this game is kind of weird. Right here, there's just a UFO. And whenever you get the UFO, you get the UFO power-up. And this is the only UFO for quite a while. And if you kill it, or if you leave the room without it, then it just disappears for the rest of your time playing the game until you turn it off and on again. Or until you beat it, I guess. Like, anytime you see a UFO in this game, it is the only time that it appears, until you reset. And it's one of the best power-ups, so I really don't know why it's in, I guess, the second world, but it almost feels like the first world, because the first world went by so quickly. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. You can do all kinds of stuff. Except for break flashing metal squares, which is unfortunate. Always with the hammer. So, about that Kirby. Waddle Dee. It annoys me how people always talk about Waddle Dee being the hardest boss in video games, because I guess in Superstar or something, Waddle Dee is, like, labeled as a boss, but he's just a normal enemy. And I'm gonna ditch the... nope. I'm gonna ditch the UFO power-up here, because even though it is awesome, I feel like having no power-up is the most beneficial thing in these sections, and you don't even get to keep the UFO power-up outside of the level anyways, so what's the point? Yeah, all of these sections are definitely easier without a power-up. Which is odd, because you would think that the power-ups are always more useful, like they are in Mario, but nope, that's one thing that makes Kirby different. I do not remember what I was saying a second ago. Just barely scrape up to Cloud 1. I would say we're on Cloud 9, but no, this is 1. And 1 is somehow better than 9. Mighty number 1. I haven't really been showing off any of the other doors, besides the ones that are numbered and are just the regular levels. I probably should show those off, but I'm not really very good at the challenge ones. Now, one thing that I can say about Kirby games in general, all of them, is that they all look really puffy and cute. But then one of the special things about Kirby is that it doesn't stay cute all the way through most of the time. I mean, Kirby's Epic Yarn definitely stays cute the entire time, but most of them don't. Most of them take quite a turn towards the end. And that's my style. I like innocent things that turn not so innocent. And now we are not Kirby anymore, we are Mike. Our name has been legally changed to Mike. Except not really, it's just we have the microphone power-up. Which I will use to kill those enemies that I forgot the name of. I just know that they are scary. Punk Kirby for the win. Alright, can I get another one of those laser things? I mean, I never got it in the first place. Here we go. One thing that's a little bit bothersome about this game, that might be replicated in other Kirby games, I'm not really sure, is the fact that enemies appear back on screen as soon as you leave the screen, or as soon as you come back. Just like Mega Man, how if the spawn point of an enemy is 1 pixel off the screen, and then you move 1 pixel off the screen, then it comes back. I don't know. I've always found that annoying, but it's not a huge issue to me in this game most of the time, and sometimes it's a good thing. Wait a minute. I still want that. Except no, I don't, because I don't need more health. Now, I would probably be scrambling for all of the health if I was playing the extra mode with the 3 HP instead of the 6. It's kind of funny how this game is easier than Kirby's Dream Land 3, despite that game having more health. Just because the controls feel more sluggish in that one. The controls are super responsive in this one. It feels so good to play. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the other doors for the lulls of it. I haven't played this one in a while. Let's see, subgame level 1. You just hold down A except for on the black parts, I guess. Kirby Air Ride before it was Kirby Air Ride. Ouch. Yeah, pretty much. And I'm pretty sure Kirby Air Ride was going to be a Nintendo 64 game, and then it became a GameCube game instead. Well, that worked out. Leaving rainbows behind like Nyan Cat. I don't know why Nyan Cat kept showing up in that, that Would You Rather game that I was playing. Okay, do I want either of these? Nah. Now here's the arena, which I guess there's an arena in another game where Waddle Dee is supposedly a boss. Or possibly this one, I'm not really sure. And I don't know how long this is gonna go, because I don't remember this at all. Oh, I guess I just go through the door. Right? Was that it? Okay. I mean, I don't know if there was more to that or not, but... Now let's go to Bomb Rally. Which is just ridiculous. Now, in Kirby's Adventure, I believe this was a minigame where you had to eat a whole bunch of eggs, and then you had to not eat a bunch of bombs that were thrown at you. And then, if you ate a bomb, then none of the eggs would hatch. Oop. But then if you didn't eat a bomb and you only ate the eggs, then they would hatch. Dang it. Well, that blew up in my face. Oh well, one up, that's nice. And the door closes behind me. I think there's another minigame somewhere, but I'm not seeing it right now. Oh well, proceeding with more of the normal game. One thing that also bothered me about Kirby's Dream Land 3 playing that, even though I should stop talking about it because I might Let's Play it at some point, is that the cannons in that one move by so quickly, like they rotate on a dime, while the cannons in this one rotate very slowly and you can avoid them more easily. Sure, a wheel, I'll take you. I'll take you for a spin, see what I did there. Sunday Driver, except Sunday Driver is the name of a golf club. How's my driving? Call 1-800. Okay. Moving on. Stop moving so fast, Kirby. I like how Kirby looks like a yo-yo, kind of, whenever he's a wheel. Or maybe not a yo-yo, but maybe more like just the wheel of a skateboard, specifically. Because they have special wheels. Alright. I think I want all these 1-ups. I don't think I'll need any of these 1-ups, but I still want them, so... I'm just gonna abuse myself constantly by running into swords and, get one of these burning guys. I don't know any of the characters' names, or any of the enemies' names. I only know Kirby and Dedede. And... yeah, I think that's it, actually. Well, and Waddle Dee, because Waddle Dee is obvious, but... I used to know what these guys were called. They're not Gibdos, because that's a Majora's Mask enemy. But they're like Garbos. Well, not Garbos either, because that's the Bargo the Big Tip creature. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they start with G, though. I'll take one of these guys. High jump. These guys kind of annoy me in terms of their power-up, and also their design. Something about their design just weirds me out. Not that it's an issue, but... Great, and I just destroyed the Maxim tomato. That's just the way the tomato crumbles. Gotta love Kirby's dances. They are the most enthusiastic dances, and what is that face that he makes whenever he slides and closes his eyes? It is the strangest face. Kirby makes strange faces. Here's the warp star if you want to fast travel, even though traveling is already pretty fast between worlds. I like this boss. It's, this boss could definitely be more than it is, but I still like it. And it is possible that I will not succeed at beating it the first time. But assuming that you don't use power-ups for this fight, it's cool because... yeah, it's cool because you have to use its powers against him. Switching between it and him. I don't know what... pronouns? Yeah, I don't know what pronouns I'm using. Sometimes I think the power-ups in these games are really unbalanced. Because there are some super powerful ones that are really easy to use. And then there are some that are really easy to use that aren't so powerful. And then that makes sense. Like, if a power has more offense, then you would expect the defense to go down. And if it has more defense, then you would expect the offense to go down. But sometimes that doesn't seem to be the case. I just know that my first time playing the game, the tornado power-up was how I got through every level. And it's slow, but it works.